Education, Laurie Kilmartin.
Never mind. I opened with terrible chit chat, and then we were stopped by Kyle. So that's fine.
Here's the thing: is if you don't enjoy terrible chit chat, we are 5 years into a real big error for you.
You know what? Somebody I forget who, I don't think I know this person. It just popped up cruelly on my timeline, looking for podcasts, something that's not Comedy Pals chatting. I'm like, whoa, that is a direct attack in my heart.
Yeah, there's trouble there. It's because that's exactly what this is, you guys.
Yeah.
We're a friendship in the making. It's very exciting. We're gonna see each other, all three of us. We're doing a show tonight in your backyard.
Yeah. I just kept doing little things all week to clean it up, and I kept thinking, well, I'm done. And then I hit the bathroom, and I almost passed out.
Right.
When you take off what you find, like you have like little glasses, your rose colored, I find this acceptable glasses. And you're living with a 14-year-old, and at one point an elderly, whatever. You're like, this is acceptable. I can overlook this. And then you're like, oh, I got my guest list in the head, and they're going to see this, and they're going to think I'm a gross person and that I live in a gross way, which I am, and I do. And I'd like to just keep that to myself. So I'm trying to scrub as much as possible and just pour bleach and Clorox over everything.
That's a beautiful smell for me these days. I have to say that Nancy Cation, when I moved in with Nancy Cation has always said that there's something called a dirt threshold.
Yes.
With whoever you live with. And if
Right.
you have a higher dirt threshold than the person you live with, they clean more. And if they have a higher dirt threshold than you clean more.
Right.
And you have a guest dirt threshold, and it's what you're willing to let your guests see.
Yes.
So
right.
It was looking pretty good when we were checking the sound system.
Okay, well, yours is clearly, your threshold's pretty high because...
Well, I didn't go in the bathroom.
Okay.
Oh, wait a minute. I did it. I was actually judgmental. But then I let it go.
Jackie Cation. Oh, my God.
Hey, so when we used Patreon money to get a new mic stand.
Yeah.
And it did not have a clip. Is that what I'm understanding?
They come with the microphones because mics are different sizes.
Oh, I see.
Okay.
Because I've got so much nonsense. Are you bringing a clip, Kyle?
I've got a mic and a clip in the car.
Okay.
Ready to go.
Oh well, then I'm not gonna.
I have
a clip party.
I will have every single possible thing you can sit on moved to my backyard. Benches, nothing goes together. It just looks like a garage sale of chairs. But hopefully everyone will have something to sit on.
It's a classic LA outdoor backyard show then.
Is it really? I feel like a lot of them I've been to have been minimal seating and a lot of standing and leaning against dumpsters and stuff. Those are more like the parking people, like personal apartment parking lot shows. Have you done any of those?
No.
Yeah. Or maybe I was just more comfortable leaning against a dumpster. But but it always seems a little more like people just rented chairs or something, like folding chairs, or because it all felt uniform. And this will be, my house is being emptied into the backyard.
Oh, fair enough. It's I think you've chosen wisely. And here we are. We're doing our first Kill Cash, Cation, Kill Martin. Who cares? Outdoors.
Our internet is my last Kill and then my son's last name. Kill actually it's a great combo prefix.
Let's never do Kill Cation Kyle. Let's not do the 3 Ks. Let's never do
you know what? Let's not. Let's stop at Kill Cash. Yeah.
I like it.
Because really, isn't that what our career does, is kill the cash that's coming to us? The more we do this podcast, the fewer spots we get.
Oh my God. I picked up a weekend at the Creek in the Cave in Austin.
That's super exciting. I forgot, is it a Thursday through Saturday or Friday?
Don't know offhand, but it's in June and it's right after doing Portland Helium. I'm proud of everybody, quite honestly, because the Helium chain wanted me to risk my life 6 months ago. And I was like, if you got work for me, when I'm vaccinated, I will totally come. And they somehow rose to that occasion, and I'm very pleased.
I'm
And
glad too.
yeah, yeah. And then Creek in the Cave, I was looking at their lineup, and she'll book everybody. She books absolutely everyone. And I'm
She
like,
has, yes, the
but that,
Catholic lowercase c taste in comedy. Yes.
wow. Yeah, which is, which is an old Lewis Lee kind of thing. He's like,
Yeah.
everybody should get to come, and you're like, then why aren't you booking more Chinese comics? Anyway, no, he doesn't.
Whoa, well, how did this?
It became an attack on Lewis Lee.
It
That's
did.
what
It really did.
It's so.
But I think that's exciting. You're going to Austin, and I'm thrilled for you.
Portland.
I would love to work that club as well. I miss Austin. Haven't been to Moon Tower in a long time, and as always, I want to work every club and do every spot.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. But you've got last night I did a Zoom show at nowhereclub.com
Okay.
with Alonzo and Blank Patch. So freaking funny, man.
I know. His Twitter, if you just want to just see a bunch of perfect jokes in a row, just go to Blanket Patch's Twitter. He's so effortless.
One-liner master.
Yes.
It's amazing. So
he has like a 13-word maximum or something. I just don't know how, when you see how he creates what he creates with so few words, it's really astonishing.
Liz Miley was on it.
Oh yeah, cool. I think it's Mealy.
Mealy, I think you're right. I was as soon as I said it, I was like, I don't think that I'm pronouncing that right, but it's Mealy. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I had an outdoor show last night.
Oh, that's
cool. A couple outdoor shows this week.
Oh wow.
Was last night. It was a fundraiser for a Catholic school. You know me. I love Catholic schools, and I opened with saying I went to a Catholic school like this in the Bay Area, and I got, my dad worked overseas, so I could have a fine Catholic education, and now I'm an atheist comedian. So I hope it works out better for you guys, because I know you're all spending a lot of money.
And did anyone yell, Walnut Creek isn't the Bay Area? No one did.
No one did, because no one would, Wisconsin. So I don't even know what's the point you're trying to make. It's the East Bay. It's a part of.
I'm riffing. I'm just riffing. It isn't right. It's cruel. I take it all back.
It was fun though. It was okay. So I did, and I did. It was interesting because I also did an outdoor show on a LA hotel rooftop.
Okay.
And that was a little. I feel like the kind of people that are going to take 2 elevators to a stand-up show. Maybe not my target audience, right?
Oh, interesting. You would think they desperately, are they just a little too cool for school, or they're not
young? Yeah, they're young, and it doesn't bother them, and they're very cool. But they're also just we haven't had any similar life experiences, and versus parents that are driving to a fundraiser to drink. You can't believe how aligned we were. But it was, I mean, it was, it's when the rooftop one, I was like the second, and it was a much smaller crowd, and they weren't not remotely the same conditions, but at one joke in, I was like, okay, I'm just gonna, keep this ball in the air, and where the laughs are going, by the way, straight up and away from me.
Yeah.
And then the Catholic, which I did with Kira and Kira Sultanovich and Brian Kiley, and everyone killed, and the crowd was like so happy. I think they were all afraid it was going to suck, and when it didn't, they were over the moon. And then Jamie Kaler looked at, I guess his kids go to this place. So
fair enough. That's a classic LA. My kids need a fundraiser for their school, and you're like, wow, okay.
Oh yeah, that's half all the shows I did for Greg Fitzsimmons are fundraisers from the school. I'll fundraise for any school. I really will.
And I will say that I did a private this week, and it was nobody turned there were like 3 people. There were 25 people there. 3 people, including the woman who booked me, had their mics and cameras on, and everybody else had their mics and cameras off. And
no, oh my God. Yeah. So that's probably how they do meetings, right? I'm assuming.
I don't know why they didn't have their cameras off. I mean, you would think that for meetings, they would have to have their cameras on to prove that they were at the meeting.
I don't think so. I think now it's all descended into one conference call that everyone hates, Possibly.
And everyone's muted.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's, but it was essentially me running lines, and I did my time, and she paid me, and so I guess successful, sure. And then the other thing that I did do was I went to the Improv,
Mhm.
who Antonio was there, and Antonio,
Oh,
yeah,
I'm
Antonio's
so
working.
glad he's okay.
I'm
I
so
don't
glad
know.
he lived.
Any
So glad
person
he
over
lived.
70, I'm so worried
Yeah,
about during this
right.
whole thing. I'm so glad he's all right. I love that
Yeah,
guy.
and but it was and the thing is I know I've met the guys. I've met all the guys that were on that show.
Uh-huh.
Um, because this guy Nigel recognized me, and this guy Lachlan recognized me.
Lachlan Patterson, of course.
Yeah,
Yes, you know him.
he
You've seen
looks
him
like
all
a
over the
Deborah
place.
DiGiovanni fake boyfriend Friday from
Ah,
Instagram. And I don't know why I wouldn't recognize him. He's dreamy as all fuck. And
maybe because your head is like you can't comprehend that that's a funny comedian, and
right.
so I think that happens. There's not many handsome men in comedy, Kyle exception, I do have to be reminded, like I have to see you 6 or 7 times to
Yeah.
fully comprehend that you do stand up, when clearly you could just have photographs taken of yourself and make a lot more money.
Right. The only person I recognized who is exactly that was Ryan Stout. And I was like,
Yes.
oh, there's Ryan Stout looking handsome. And
Was he in a suit again?
he wasn't. And I was
Oh,
first. I was
yeah.
first, and but he got there, and I said, "What's with this look?" And he goes, "I'm trying something new. You know, we all changed during pandemic."
Totally.
And
Good for him. So what was he wearing?
he was wearing a long sleeve T-shirt.
Wow.
It
Wow.
was quite a look, but
I
it
feel
didn't
like
say anything. It was just
he shot out of the womb in a Brooks Brothers. So
right.
it's exciting to see. He probably
Really.
his tie and the umbilical cord probably got all tangled, and there were some life-threatening moments.
He probably had a twin that died on that time. Anyway, so yeah, so it was very much like normal
Mhm.
improv set
Yeah.
where I did 15 minutes and 10 minutes,
Yeah.
and then I assumed other people were going to run the light, so I left. And plus I had it's never been easy for me to hang out
Right.
at the improv in the last couple of years, so that didn't change, and I was just like,
Why?
and
Because you
now,
just don't know the acts as well, or
no, because I have my car. Because I have my car and I can leave. And
sure.
I can
Oh,
go
before
home.
you were,
Yeah.
were you taking the bus before to?
No, I don't know why. I don't know why. There were years when it was easier for me to hang out at the improv.
Okay.
And but it has been not easy for the last couple of years. And now I'm coming off of a twitchy, pandemic. I don't want
Yeah.
to too many people. Yeah.
Well, there's like little stages in your life where you all you want to do is watch comedy, you gobble it up, right?
And just hang with comics. Yeah.
Right. And then you're like, all right, I got it. I know how comedy works. Got it. Understood. And
Yeah.
then you're also doing other spots. You're bopping around, and sometimes watching a lot of comedy can drain the comedy out of you, you know. And also I think sometimes when you have your crew and you guys all hang out together, and then your crew starts to dissipate, everyone moves to different places, or they leave comedy, or they get other careers and stuff, and now it's always new crews, and they're, it's sometimes it's a little lonely, you miss your people you started with. That's natural for any comic. You're always going to have that core group that you probably won't see at comedy clubs in 10 years.
If you want to hang out with a new crew, you have to put the time in. If you want
Yes.
to, if
Yeah.
if there's a new clique that you want to hang out with, it won't take long, but it will take at least 2 or 3 nights.
Yes.
Of hanging out for 3 hours, me drinking Diet Coke cranberries, which is a lot.
Yes, it is a lot. I also think, like, when you first start, you don't want to go home because you're living in an awful place, or with your parents, or with people you still want to see, right? And then you start to develop a life, and you're like, with you, my husband is at home, and I like this guy, right? I'm not
Right.
trying to hide from him.
Mhm.
For some reason, my son still he hasn't turned into an awful teenager yet. He likes, he's nice to be around, and I don't want him to be home alone all night, So in fact, I remember Felicia Michaels saying that this is when you need to be home more than ever, or something like, because I don't know, when you get the sitter lined up and you're like, oh, I'm fucking out of here and doing spots. And then something about them being teenagers, they need you more than they're going to say they need you. And so you shouldn't take your cues from them because they're not telling the truth, versus like an 8-year-old will tell the truth about how much they need you, But a 14-year-old will be like, I don't need you.
You're not going to leave an 8-year-old alone.
Oh, I did. But, I felt guilty. That's the point.
Little latchkey.
Frequently
like for kids. Yes. Just knock yourself up. There you go. And I'll be back in like 4 hours. Don't sweat. And and we were going super early, I think because I think I was up Friday, and yesterday we went to my mother-in-law's up in the middle Central Valley. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And we had to leave at like 6 a.m. because one of his cousins was graduating over Zoom, but he was driving like the whole family. This was a family event where we met in person, but he graduated over Zoom. And so I threw Zoom to the big TV, and he was on his laptop graduating, and we got to see him. And then we had cake, and it was lovely.
That's cool. My kid graduates this Friday. They have a ceremony. He has a gown. Nice. And it's weird. Life goes on,
So it'll be over Zoom, or it'll be real life?
It's in person. Okay. It's outdoors in person, and
okay, that's
everyone will be seated far apart. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, LA's doing pretty good, I think, with the vaccinations, though it's something like 47% of the 12 to 16 or whatever.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's 47% are white kids, and 37% are Latino and Asian, and 11% Black.
How does that line up with that? Well, you don't have to know I just wonder how that lines up with the population. Is it tracked
of LA?
Yeah.
Well, just 11% of the available children who are Black are getting vaccinated.
Right.
And 89%, nobody has time to take them, or some other reason, or there's, their parents are anti-vaxxers or some fucking thing.
Well,
I don't approve.
I don't know what to say. That's why I don't invite 12-year-olds to my show. I've had a long-standing rule.
Right, your own 12-year-old was like, no, get out, go put your headphones on.
I did.
I invite at 16. That's when they can come. That's all of my nieces and nephews. It's 16.
I told my son might hang around for the show tonight. I told him after my set he could come out and watch, and I think that's acceptable to him as well.
He has so much dark anime. I think it's gonna be fine.
I don't want him hearing the things I'm saying. And,
right. You don't want him to watch your set.
I've made up complete lies about him that I think he will object to, but I don't care because I get laughs.
Right. And he can't hear them till they're on the album. That's my thing with my dad. I'm like, you get no rebuttal time until it's on the album.
You can draw you can draw me however you want. That's what I've told him. And the other thing is I go, look, these are just a little kernel of truth, and then I start writing, and that's that. Okay. So you can tell your friends I'm lying about you, and that is the truth.
Right. That's good. I remember David, what's his name? He used to write for Dennis Miller. He used to write for Dennis Miller when he was sane. His name is David. David, famous in stand-up comedy circles. It's Password, you guys. All of a sudden, we're playing Password.
Okay.
Anyway,
keep going with your story.
Anyway, he did all these jokes about his wife, and they were super mean.
Right.
And they were one-linery, and I couldn't remember when they got divorced, but I was like. Eventually he was like, well, of course they're not true. They're not true. And I was just like, yeah, it feels like feels brutal anyway, kind of. And I was standing next to her one show probably 20 years ago, and she was like, no, it's not really about me. It's about something else. And I was like, yeah, it does seem to feel like anger towards all women then. It doesn't seem
Right. Well,
it
listen.
isn't about you. It's about all of us, and we're all assholes in his mind.
Yeah, I mean, in a slightly different story, I remember working with this one headliner who had just a massive chunk about how much he loved his wife and cheated on her the entire week. So either way, I think if you're a male comic and you have a wife, beware, everybody.
Yeah, they got to be the hero. Andy really wants me to be. I wrote a new joke about him, and he's the only one who gets pre-approval. Quite
Sure.
just because I've seen the damage. I've seen the damage, and so he is. He's sort of, he gets to say the snarky thing we're in this marriage chunk, and it's a new line, and he's like, well, why don't you say that? And I was like, I don't think it's gonna work as well. And he's like, I think it'd work just fine. And so I tried it with me saying it, and I sounded like an asshole. So when he says it, he just sounds like I've driven him mad. And so the angle is sort of better, you know?
Yeah. I'll say that I had an entire circumcision chunk about my son without letting the audience know whether I had circumcised my son or not. Okay?
Right.
So yeah, I try to take care to not actually violate his privacy as much as possible.
Yeah, I'm not happy about thinking about it at all right now. This is all kinds.
Well, you know what? There's so many other things for you to think about right now. I don't even know why you dwell on that. I'm talking about privacy issues, and who knows what the fuck you're thinking of right now. I don't think you're allowed in my house tonight, quite frankly.
Get out! And I'm going to storm off. Yeah, so I travel this week. I go to Colorado for the Comedy Works South, and it turns out Downtown Comedy Works isn't open.
Oh, why?
South is
just the Board of Health stuff?
Maybe different county.
Oh,
Might be a different county, and
wow.
But I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it, but I'm also not looking forward to that. You know, when we were on the road all the time.
Yeah.
The 4 days off in between, or even the 8 days in between, like if I'd have a week or two off.
Yeah.
In between 45 to 60-minute sets, I didn't sweat it, you know? And getting back into that rhythm is, so I don't know how Thursday's going to be, but.
Yeah, it's so many travel days and drives to the airport. And the other thing of like, do I put my suitcase away, or do I just put it like half away because I'm going to grab it again?
Oh, suitcase talk. I'm half packed with masks, but the thing is the set itself. I feel like I'm not reinventing the set every week anymore. Like it's not like going to Seattle and having to go, okay, I'm doing a long set for the first time in person in 14 months.
Oh, I see. Right.
So by Saturday second show, I felt in the groove.
Yeah.
By Sunday shows in Colorado 2 weeks ago, week and a half ago, I felt totally in the groove those last, and I have to listen to those sets, quite honestly.
Yeah.
Because I can't find my notebook, which is terrifying.
Ooh, how far into it were you?
Oh, it's a good one because it's a year and a half in, and I'm.
Oh shit!
So I'm. It's got to be in my luggage.
Did you have it at the Improv? When did you notice you lost it?
The Improv. When I was like on my way to the Improv, I was like, "Where's my notebook?" And so it's got to be around here somewhere. I mean,
now notebooks, I would take a Bill Gates tracking device in. If we could if we could shoot those into our notebooks, that'd be great.
Do you see Carmen's post about PS5s and used cars? The chips are almost impossible to find, but people think they're in the vaccine because they don't understand how capitalism works.
That's great.
Such a great tweet.
That's why used cars are so expensive right now.
Yeah.
I've got two diamonds, apparently. I've got a 2006 and a 2007. No, a 9.
Carmen needs a car. Carmen needs a used car.
I can't, one of them, I'm going to drive one till it dies and then start with the other. I don't want to deal with getting another car. So my mom's is decommissioned and I just move it across the street and then twice a week. And then I'll get to it when the Honda completely clunks out. But
it's a Honda. It's never going to clunk out.
Well, then my son will have it. So
yeah. I mean, that's the thing. It'll be you're gonna keep moving that car for 2 years, and then he's gonna be 15. So he'll need a car. So hopefully the chip thing will be resolved in 2 years, and Carmen will have gotten a car.
Part of me has that like where I just would want to spend my entire retirement fund on a Volvo that is covered in airbags for my kid, but I don't know. It's
you like a Volvo or
I just want safety, but
then you should get a cherry picker and have him be in the cage up high and then somehow drive the car up there.
No, I agree.
Yeah. And but I will say, because my dream car is a 1997 Toyota Camry. Mint.
I don't even know how to respond to that.
Because it's the greatest road car in the world, the 1997.
Okay. All right.
The Accord was pretty good that year too. That was those are the people that I knew that had those road cars never had any problem on the road. I was literally as jealous of anything in my life, of a Netflix special, the 97 Camry. I was as jealous of that.
I'm just sad for your dreams, and I'm sad for what you consider a high.
Well, I mean, I think the next car I get will be an electric car, though that will be weird for if I ever, if I start doing road, like in my 60s, I assume I'll be doing tribble runs. So,
I know. I'm
hoping,
like, like our vision of ourselves, of like, there's a lot of these comics that are famous that I consider myself a peer to because we started at the same time, et cetera, et cetera. And then you go, but no one else considers me their peer. It's just me, like you and I, how we see ourselves versus how like these upcoming newer comics, they just must look at us like these grannies that keep doing sets, you know what I mean? I don't really know.
I think that your perception is skewed because I have done so many podcasts in the last 14 months of younger comics who are weirdly worshipful of you and me and are literally like,
real.
That's very real, where they're just like, you guys you work so hard, and you have everything I want, and you are the coolest. And so try not to think of yourself as a granny who is doing stand-up comedy.
Tell her, Jackie.
Okay, maybe what I think of is bookers think of us that way. Is that possible?
Yes, absolutely.
Absolutely. There's just like, there are bookers who love you. Yeah, exactly. The bookers are like, I didn't want to fuck her 20 years ago. Why would I book her now? And you're like, I don't know, because I'm better at stand-up, right? Anyway.
Jackie, hey, some of our lady comedy pals are going crazy on stage with the cleavage, etc.
Oh, was that actually Whitney Cummings twerking at the Improv?
I think it might have been a different improv, not the LA Improv. I think she was on the road. You know what? Maybe people are so excited to be out. They're just touching asses,
That's exactly what that was.
Maybe I'm excited then. I will be in Alameda in July and I'll be at Stir Crazy in Phoenix. Bring your ass and bring your boobs to the club because that's what we're doing now.
I got to see your new boobs and I was so sad that I was like, hey, I'm not staring at your chest. I'm so sorry.
Oh, that's okay. I don't know what to make of that comment or many about my chest, but I'll be 4 weeks out when this thing drops. So 2 more weeks till I can fully resume my life. I'm still I feel like a robot. So, and they feel fragile still, but,
fair enough.
but you know,
Yeah.
and, whatever, it's
But okay.
it's just time. I just got to wait it out and,
Yeah, you do.
and then resume
But
my life.
I will
hope.
say that I made a comment because Whitney Cummings posted the video of her doing that and touching the lady's butt in the front row.
Yeah.
And I commented, "How did you find this clip of me and doing stand up?" And she did not respond. And granted, I have literally met Whitney Cummings twice, so she doesn't know me.
I think
And
I've met her just a couple times as well.
so she may
yeah.
not be one of the younger comics who's a big fan, so which is fine. I mean,
You know
if
what? Maybe the people that like us a lot, we skip the generation right under us. Because I bet we're the comics that
People do.
generation's like, fuck those bitches, I'm gonna get them, right? And then, so they don't like us, but then the generation under them hates them, but they love us because we didn't quit, right?
All right.
Maybe that's it. I get
All
it.
right,
I understand it. I had those same feelings towards the generation above me. It's very natural to want to take down the generation above you because it's just that's right. Or am I just an asshole?
Oh,
Well, no,
you're
I
super
think-
real.
Okay. Thank you.
It might be conditioning. It might be nurture, not nature. But I will say this: it's 30 minutes. Why don't we do a break?
Okay.
And then we should also do an ad and a comic of the week.
Oh, Kyle, you post up the ad and I will. Our comic of the week is a lady I worked with a couple weeks ago on Zoom, and I guess there's people I think we've already done. I don't think we had done her yet. She's
Did her, yeah.
Yeah, she's Canadian. We went outside the borders, guys, and we're happy to do more of that if we don't know all you guys. Robby Hoffman, very funny comic,
Hoffman.
and
Yeah.
she has clips all over the inter and intranet, and very funny lady. So
What's
check
her
out
handle?
Robby, Robby Hoffman, like Dustin or Monty. Oh wait, not Monty. He was a comic rumored to have been wanted for rape in New York. So not like Monty, but exactly like Dustin, who just apparently has problems filling people up.
Robby
Okay.
Hoffman and I worked together in Canada a couple of weeks, and
Yeah.
she was always hilarious, super smart, real personal, and you should find her and get her some work.
Wait, where is her?
Robby Hoffman, Hoffman. Is it at that?
It's wait, let me grab it. It's I am Robby Hoffman. IAMROBBYHOFFMAN.
Yeah.
Go
Nice
By the
work.
way, I assume anyone that has more than one clip that ends .ca is Canadian. So I am assuming she's Canadian.
She is Canadian because I met her in the Canada, and then she came to LA a couple of times, and she came to Comedy Brunch once or twice.
Hey.
And now, an ad. BetterHelp. In 2021, it's finally okay to talk about our mental health, and that's why we're excited to be sponsored by BetterHelp. BetterHelp is customized online therapy that offers video, phone, and even live chat sessions. They'll match you with a therapist in under 48 hours, and it's easy to change therapists if needed. Remember, you don't need a traumatic event to benefit from therapy. Maybe you're feeling anxious or depressed. Why? Why would you feel that? Or your stress
This has
level
been a
feels
traumatic event. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. Or your stress levels feels like it's too much to manage. Get some tools to cope and make life just a little bit easier. And I love the idea of being able to do over the internet or over Zoom, just to call in, because I'm on the road all the time, and you can check in. And I love the idea that you can switch, because then you don't have to, you don't have to stay, like some people get a therapist and they're like, well, that's the therapist I have. And you're like, no, you should feel a connection with someone.
Right.
So, plus BetterHelp is way more affordable than in-person therapy, by the way, but just as effective, obviously. And see if it's for you. This podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp, and Jackie and Laurie listeners can get 10% off their first month at BetterHelp. BetterHelp.com/Jackie Laurie. So it's BetterHelp, BETTER, help, HELP.com/Jackie Laurie.
Yes. And I would like to point out that this podcast is not therapy. So you and I definitely need to call these people, because sometimes
yeah it's
sometimes it feels like too much dumping, like I gotta talk to Jack.
Right. It's and stand-up isn't therapy either. Therapy is therapy, you guys.
Yes.
Gonna let you in on that. What about the other one? I'm wearing the pants they sent me.
You want me to start it? And then
Yeah.
okay, so all right, guys, we have a new sponsor. This is so exciting. Shopping for new clothes can be time consuming, tedious, and expensive. Fortunately, Stitch Fix makes it easy to find the clothes you love. They offer clothing hand selected by expert stylists for your unique size, style, and budget. You try on the pieces at home before you buy, you keep your favorites, and you send back the rest. Stitch Fix has free shipping, easy returns and exchanges, and a prepaid return envelope is included. There's no subscription required. You try Stitch Fix once, set up automatic deliveries. You'll pay $20 styling fee for each box, which gets credited towards the pieces you keep. So I would like to, now you go first.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, so I picked a bunch of stuff, right? They were like, what kind of things do you like? What kind of sizes do you like? I loathe shopping.
Yeah.
Send me something to cover this body. And it'd be great if it looked good. And so I ended up, they sent me, I think it was 3 tops and 3 pairs of pants. And I kept I kept 1 pair of pants and 1 top. Yeah. And the top is it's nice, and the pants are just jeans that fit me.
Mhm.
And I was like, well, how did
That's
you do
amazing.
that?
That's
Yeah,
amazing.
how on earth? It's me and my ass are very, very interesting to try to fill. So if you I mean, how about you?
I may have filled it out wrong because I got stuff that wasn't what I wanted. But
Right.
listen, there was one thing that was really cute, but again, my boob situation was, it's it was, they were out to here and now they're here. So it's hard to figure out what they are right now. But can I tell you that the thing that stresses me out the most about these, like anything like this, is how do I return this stuff if it doesn't fit? That always seems like a pain in the ass. So the stuff I got, I was able to return. It's so fucking easy. They give you a box, your stuff's in it, try it on. All right, you don't want it, you put it back in. There's this envelope. You don't even have to get your own thing. It's not like Amazon where you have to get your own box, or get, recycle something. They
send a giant bag.
Yeah, and you just put it over the thing, right? All you do is just stitch and you just you piece together the gluey parts. It's super easy, and you put it right by your mailbox, and it's gone. And it's you don't have to go any place. You don't have to go to UPS. You don't have to do anything. It's super easy, and that made me happy. And I know I'm going to figure out. I may have plugged in the wrong information because
and you tweak it. You're going to tweak it.
Yeah.
And
so
give it another
I'm excited.
shot.
Yes.
Yeah,
And also they are a little adventurous, and I'm like, you know what? I should have something like this. Why do I always have the same fucking shirt all the time?
I went a little more adventurous, and I kept one of the adventure shirts, and one of the other adventure shirts I did not. Okay. But I may grow as a person who wears more interesting clothing, is what I'm saying.
Look at Ryan Stout. He is now our fashion hero. He's trying something new. Why don't we try things new, Jackie?
Get started today at stitchfix.com/Jackie Laurie, and you'll get 25% off when you keep everything in your fix. Wow. So Stitch Fix is STITCH Fix, FIX.com/Jackie Laurie, and you'll get 25% off when you keep everything in your fix. And it's 25% off. That's amazing. StitchFix.com/Jackie Laurie.
The easy returns is what really made me feel relief of what if I get it and I don't like it? It's so easy.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway,
back to comedy.
Those were ads, you guys. We did them, and we were excited about it and positive. And
we only accept advertisers that we like. I mean, Max Fun runs some stuff by us, and we're like, that's not us really, and we can't get excited about it. So
it's so important that I need everything run by me. That's the Dork Forest. I'm going to have a new advertising person, and I'm like, you can't. And he's like, you won't even have to. Some of them I won't even have to record. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, That's great, but you still have to ask me if I want to advertise your stupid weed bowl. Like if you're selling pipes, I don't necessarily want to. I want to use the thing I'm advertising, right?
Yeah.
It's an old sales technique. You have to believe in whatever you're selling.
Oh, believe
It's
you are now. We're talking in your wheelhouse. It's vacation.
Yes.
It's
Well,
vacation dinner table stories right now.
oh my God. It's my brother Phil cracked me up so much this week, but it's not really a tale for the podcast.
Okay.
Anyway, but
Let's see. I had some Zoomers this week too.
oh, did you?
Yeah, and I've jokes are coming along. I'm one has new potential. I'm excited, and I just got to get the. I feel like one I keep fucking around the wording on, but I refuse to actually sit down and harden it. You
Yeah.
want there's like this time in a joke's life where you just want it in your head. You don't, except for a few buzzwords on paper. You don't want to put it down and start to like finish it, because it feels open and fluid, and because there'll be once you get to that point where it's hard and done, it's done, and you're not going to add tags to it. People will come up to you afterwards, oh, how about this, and you want to punch them in the face. It's like, no, that's done, and one extra word would ruin it. Okay. But there's a time when there's an openness to it where it could go any single place, before you hit, I don't know, I think it must be instinctual for every comic. Like, you're like, this thing should be about 2.5 minutes long, right? This whole thing, 3 minutes long, whatever it is. And so once you get to that thing and you got your medium laughs and your hard laughs and you're building your boom, you're done with it. And so the time before you harden all that stuff is when you're open to more things. And so right now I've got like this story about the medium, going to see the medium, and it feels it feels like it's getting closer to like, having a beginning, middle, and an end, and enough laughs in each part of it, but I haven't solidified the ending.
Right. Fair enough. Yeah, you got to put a button on it. And what I will say about when the joke is hard and it's done,
Yeah.
you can tell that it's super done because a lot of people want to come over and mess with it. And they're just like, I got an idea. You should talk about this thing. And I was like, okay, that joke is from an album 3 albums ago. I can't
And you're taking it in a completely different direction that doesn't reflect who I am as a person whatsoever.
Oh, that would be weird. That's always weird too.
It's always from a guy too. Hey, did you? No, I didn't think of that. And you know why? Because I'm not you. And
right.
I don't shoot things out of my genitals when I have sex. So maybe that's how you and I are different. And that's how we perceive things.
Another piece of imagery that I have to say is a lot for this.
Sorry. But you know what? I forget the name of the comic in Washington who gave me a great tag to my uncle joke when I worked up in Seattle with them. And he actually like finished it for me.
Oh.
And I should know his name, and I'm embarrassed, but hopefully I'll see him again when I go back up there and I can thank him in person.
Yeah, it's always super, it's very fun. I like remembering whoever helped me with the joke. It keeps me slightly humble.
Yeah.
And because and I think it's kind of nice to be open to that kind of collaboration and be willing to admit that you're like, was it Gary God dang it. Was it Gary Johnson? Gary Williams? God, Peterson. Gary Peterson. Johnson, Williams, Peterson. It's Gary Peterson, who gave me I was working on that ally joke, right? And he was like, "Can you do an impression of Godzilla?" And I was like, "Well, that's the funniest fucking thing I've ever heard of." And no, I can't. But I can reference Godzilla like nobody's business.
Yes. Yes. Like nobody's business. Exactly.
Exactly. And then it becomes everyone's business because I've referenced Godzilla. And my Godzilla joke is working really well. So I'm very pleased.
That's all. I'm still like, I have the cuts back from the 800-pound gorilla for my album. And here's the thing, like I came up with the ending to a chunk that weekend. And so I'm still tentative when I'm saying it, because I'm like, oh, is this going to work? Right. And it worked. But then over the next 3 or 4 months, it just became like a killer. It's, performance.
It's done better. Yes.
And I just wonder, could we just fucking take that bit from an Acme set and sneak it in, who's gonna fucking notice? No one's gonna. Who listens to an album back to back? They don't. People just
Nobody does. And
nobody does.
And nobody is listening with, and it might, I mean, you got to talk to your sound engineer on that.
I
But
know.
the weird thing is they might be able to tighten it up in the joke. You know, I am reminded of my.
You mean in the original recording or the better one?
In the original recording?
No, because it's more how I say things. It's not that the wording changed that much. It's more like I knew that this was the final punchline of the bit in March. And when I said it in November, I was like, is this gonna work? You know? And then now I say it, I'm like, oh, I know it's gonna work, and I know it's gonna murder, because it always does. And so boom. And I want that version on an album. That's what I want. And it's just the one chunk. And I don't care if it sounds different. Come get me, come at me. So I try to make a better album for you. Oh, really? Come at me.
So I have been talking and then avoiding talking to everybody who's doing the 800-pound gorilla, and also the video of my next album and video.
So are you stressing out?
I've made peace with it, quite honestly, because when it was originally organized a little over a year ago, and I know Ryan, and I think I've told you this, I know Ryan told me he couldn't edit it.
Yeah, you did.
And I've just realized that I just have to find some more money, and I can, and it's not the end of the world. There's always going to be more money, as Elliot Cation says.
Yeah.
And but I'm trying to think, you know, there's so many things I want out of this album.
Yeah.
That it's always unrealistic going into these things where you're like, well, I want it to be, because if I've ever listened to an old album, you hear those things. You're like, well, that isn't as tight as and there's easily, I would say, 40 minutes of this album that if I can get everything back to the point it was before pandemic.
Yeah.
It's an amazing album.
Yeah.
Do I want just that 40 minutes on this album?
Why not? Or, why does it have to be an hour?
Well, if it's and why does it have to be an hour and a half? Why does it have to be an hour 15? And could it be a double album set if I have 30 minutes that's clean enough to play on the totally clean serious gig, which is what 800-pound gorilla would like.
Oh, yeah.
That's what any label would like, because they don't have enough content for that station, and that station is they need to spin a lot of stuff, and a lot of spins would mean a lot of
yes. Here's what I think. Like, even I did a Zoom show, and there was like essential worker doctors types on the show, and I was talking about my mom, and then someone started posting about, you know, comedy about the situation, and I said, here's a link to my album on iTunes about my dad, and then someone emailed me back and was like, yeah, I listened to it on Spotify. So okay, so I'm not gonna get any money. But so what I'm saying is no one listens to our albums in a way that gets us money, right? No one buys them. I would say very few people buy albums. They just listen on whatever thing they have, Pandora or Spotify, which gets us nothing. The only money we really get is from Sirius, and Sirius cuts it up in a little chunk. So you should.
I've been living off of my Sound Exchange money.
Yeah.
So I make money.
Those are little. Yeah. That's little chunk money. That's not album sales. Album sales comes from your record company.
Well, I also get a check. I mean, some people must be buying albums, because I also get money from
people do buy even digitally. Like most of the people on my label sell a couple, it goes kind of up and down, but there's like a comedy market that does like try to support and listens to kind of whole albums and stuff.
Yeah, and I get money from Stand Up Records like 3 or 4 times a year with
but it's not the same as your Sirius money.
Well, it's probably a good month or a month and a half's worth of money that I get.
Oh, okay. So then it's just me. Everyone hates me. Okay, thanks.
Right, it's you. It's normal. It's normal to know that.
I hate both of you, and I need therapy from this podcast. Thank God thank God BetterHelp is supporting us.
And thank God it's time to take a second break.
Mm-hmm.
We're back from Max Fun, you guys. How great was the Max Fun? I like that that they made our pin, the cool, it's in the chat pin.
Oh yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, that's neat.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
I think.
I do like it. It looks nice. I thought you were going someplace else. We are at our show today. We're having supporters of the podcast who I vetted and checked their social media to make sure they seem normal, and our vaxxed are coming to my home. So Max Fun sent us some people that were nearby, and so that's exciting. And so we get to support our fans by providing them a free show. I wish we could stream it, but we really can't for people that are supporters that live elsewhere. But it's otherwise the comics wouldn't want to perform, understandably.
Right, and I want to do Sunday services again, and I was going to try to do it today, but I ended up being so busy playing catch up with a bunch of family stuff and episodes that I never got my act together enough to do a Sunday services. But maybe in a couple of weeks I'll do another one. It was funny, the Alonzo show I did last night, a couple of my regulars at the Sunday services were there.
Oh, nice.
So I tried to do some of the new stuff that I worked out on stage in Seattle and Colorado. So
you know what, I forgot. I had another fun outdoor show. I had a bunch of outdoors too this week at the Comedy Chateau. Have you done that one?
No, is that Chateau Marmont?
No. That's where John Belushi died. The Comedy Chateau is
on stage.
No, in a hotel room. Okay. They're two separate entities, but they have the word chateau, and I need you to separate them in your head.
Okay.
Right now. Okay.
Where's the Comedy Chateau?
It's right across the street from the Ha Ha Cafe, like right across the street. I mean, gauntlet thrown.
Yeah.
It was outdoor. It was a bringer, and I forgot. I mean, how great bringer shows are if you're not having to bring people.
Don't have to bring them.
Because the crowds are so good. Like I used to love Jessica Kirsten used to book like early in her career. She produced great bringers at Gotham, and when you got to close her sets, I mean, they were like the best sets you would ever have, right?
Tammy Joe's shows at the store.
Yes, they're great.
Yeah,
the bringer system, whatever it is, I'm grateful I did not come up during it. Just because even trying to invite people to this show, I don't have any friends that are at stand-up comics. My life has gotten so narrow. I mean, there's just a couple people that I know well enough. Coming? She's out of town, but she started as a comic. I mean, it's really sad. But I want to learn how to talk to people too, and be a different person coming out of this pandemic too. And I also don't want my son to turn into a hermit like me. I want him to feel like he could be social and invite people over, and so we're trying a personality change. But sadly, I know very few non-comics or non-comedy affiliated people. A lot of the writers are coming to the show tonight and stuff. So, so the Comedy Chateau was
right across from the freaking Ha Ha Cafe.
Yeah, and they have a huge patio, gorgeous, great crowd. I mean, there's at least 50 people there. Everyone's spaced out. And it was so fun. Renee Percy put it together, and she had some people going up that were really, really funny, and I'm like, well, comedy is in good hands,
Well, I have to say that where I went to college, Madison, Wisconsin, there were two gyro places, gyros, gyro, whatever you want to call it.
Euro? I think it's Euro.
It's Euro, but there's a Greek way to say it. But it doesn't matter. They were across the street from each other, owned by two brothers, and they hated each other. It was like an episode of Dragon Ball Z where they just floated into the sky and growled at each other.
Okay,
it was so great.
Don't know that reference, but I'm gonna believe you.
Well, it's old timey anime, so your son would love it.
Okay,
but I will say that that I do wish that Ha Ha Cafe guy and Chateau guy would both float into the sky and growl at each other. But that's too funny. I want to play it. I want to do it, and it's an outdoor space. That's safe.
It's an outdoor space, and it was
improv. Was fun. They were checking vaccination cards.
That's amazing. I love it.
It was and also taking temperatures.
That's good too. I think that I guess that roots out people that are obviously ridden with COVID, but of course people can be asymptomatic. I would think I don't know what people are. Maybe some people who are feeling sick go out and they're psychopaths and you do want to get rid of them at the door. But
Yeah.
I would have,
If
most
you
of it's
have a
going to
fever
be,
and you're
yeah.
not willing to admit it, but someone can see it, you're just like, go to the hospital, 101, get out of here.
But a lot of people don't care. I mean, people have been, someone got on a plane deliberately with COVID symptoms and didn't give a shit, and, a couple of months ago and gave a bunch of people COVID. And so people all you need is one asshole, right? If you're not vaccinated, or if you're going to get, sadly, a breakthrough case.
My friend in Colorado, who's a 5th grade teacher, her ex-husband gave their 15-year-old daughter COVID. She wants to kill him. And I was like,
I want to kill him too.
To do, quite honestly.
So
that guy's
so
a
awful.
mess. And her daughter, 5 weeks later, still doesn't have her sense of taste and smell back.
Ugh.
And I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Let me find him. Push him off his snowboard. What the fuck?
So he was just careless, or he
Yeah.
had. Oh, God.
Yeah, he was just careless and insisting that he get his time with his kids. And she was, yeah. And she was like, and she's 15, so she hasn't been vaccinated yet, but she's due now. She can do it now in Colorado.
Yeah.
So she's
Shit.
And her son's been vaccinated. He's 18. So.
Well, yeah. I feel lucky about my situation because I never had to deal with that kind of that kind of dumbness at all. So
yeah, that sort of stupidity is
very
exhausting.
Grateful.
It's just infuriating and very, very tiring. So
sun, I'm looking the sun. I put the cover on the pool, the solar cover. I'm trying to get it up to 80 just in case people want to swim tonight. I put that in the e-bike. I even have 2 floaties I bought at Leslie's Pool Supply, but if you bring your own floaty, you can float and watch in the pool. You can watch the show. Mm-hmm.
Right. Maybe I'll wear my suit.
You don't have to, you know what? It's my pool. You don't have to wear a swimsuit. If you want to go and get in your clothes, because some people have terrible paranoia about swimsuits. I even do, if I'm not working out, I'm like, I'm not, when you're not in a pool situation, you feel like you're being looked at, right? As opposed to like at a swim team or something like that. Yeah. And I understand, I have the same thing. I've never ever worn a bikini in my entire life. And so if people have, I don't know why I'm saying this now because it'll be afterwards, but swim in your clothes. I don't care.
Yeah. And so that's very sweet. That's very nice.
Mm-hmm.
I also, I asked the guy in Arkansas about coming back and headlining. And he really wants Brad Williams, who's at my agency.
Mm-hmm.
And Brad Williams.
That's how shit gets done, honey. It's called the business. Yes.
I was like, well, I'm not his PA agent. So if you just want to book it through me, knock yourself out. And so we might do that. So wait,
if you help get him Brad, then he has to get you.
I have no idea. I don't think that's what
how
he meant,
a lot of show business works, and why not take advantage of it? And Brad, I'm sure Brad would be happy to help you what I mean?
I'm busy booking Aaron Foley. I'm busy trying to get you some work. I'm trying to get Rontowski into all of these clubs. I got to talk up Kira Sultanovich when I'm talking to clubs.
We got Jackie Fabulous. We got to get out there.
Exactly. There's Maggie May and Joelle and Winter Spears. I'm hoping to get these guys on the road a little bit.
Sure. Yeah. So Maggie's at our show tonight too. That's exciting.
Oh, right. Maggie May's doing a set. Bamford's supposed to come, right?
I hope so. This is all afterwards, so I don't mind. I'm not advertising ahead of time because we whatever. It's a private show. I think Kilgariff kind of lives near you, and we should have her on the next one, or if she wants, if she's willing to pop on over. God knows. I know that she loves her dogs. Let's just get this one out of the way. Let me just see how my cleaning goes for the rest of the day. I've drinks to buy, etc., ice to get, and things like that. That's amazing that you're doing that. And then I told Andy, I was like, well, I'm going to stay till the very end because while she has a dog,
that does not understand the word release,
Mhm.
it's not enough protection. So
Mhm.
we'll all stick it out till the very end. So
Mhm.
and yeah, but we're gonna give it a shot. And that the boxes were huge, but the setup itself for the audio was not huge, right?
Totally.
I think
Yeah.
that it's a good size for
Mhm.
when we want to do our conventions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could we pause for just a sec?
Yeah.
And we're back for one last minute. I just wanted to check something real quick with Jackie, but we're good. We're good.
Could have done it in the chat. Could have said,
That was a
"Hey,
power move.
it was very much a power move." And now
Well,
that
no,
Zoom is saying
it was a lot to
recording
type.
We
paused.
were figuring out whether we were going to go to jail or not. Luckily, we are not. So everybody wins.
I think it just pointed out that I was being a middle-aged white lady, and you know what? There's not a lot to be done about that. And I will fight that fight on
True,
the
true, true.
streets and on the beaches and in the sky. And I will try to.
We both are fighting our the way we were raised and the time we were raised. We're both fighting it. I could say that about both of us.
And
Yes.
everybody doing the good things.
Mhm.
Enough.